Hello, I'm Steve Monkey Mason, and Paul Ray hasn't got. Hello, I'm Steve Monkey Mason, and welcome to It's Just a Podcast for finally Big Trouble in Little China. I'm joined by Carl McSorley and the one and only Paul Ray, and we're about to press play on 3, 2, 1, boop. It's got to be said.
Unbelievable.
It's got to be said. This is probably, when you play in the cunt game, this is probably one of the best. Big Trouble in Little Cunt. It's just fucking, it's bad. Now,
Did you just like this, Paul? No, it's on Sky Cinema, but it's right, because isn't it? So obviously it will be on Disney Plus soon. Yeah, it will be soon, right? But I was going to say, I've put the Blu-ray on. I thought if it was under the Disney, I would have just wanted to do that.
Well, this is obviously again, like this bit at the front was added. The studio wanted to add this because there's a lot of controversy over this movie about it being buried in early production. So there was no advertisement or anything like that, and it pretty much became a cult hero on VHS. I mean, I've seen this back in the day, and I fucking loved it. I've always loved it. But this is like a great cult film. You know what I mean? I've really got fond memories of seeing this and just thinking, what the fuck is this? You know what I mean? It's a brilliant. I love it to bits.
Yeah, for me, I honestly don't even think I've seen this on DVD. This was probably, as far as I remember back, this was one of those late Saturday night films on the telly. I would say like something like Channel 5, but then probably not. I think it's a bit earlier than that. I think it would have been like a Channel 4 one. It was always kind of one of those traditions on Saturday night for us that my nana would always get all the soaps and the lottery out the way, and then my granddad and I would always watch the late night film, and this was always stuck in my mind. Yeah, I think I'm the same. I think first time seeing this on TV was probably ITV. It's probably like before the news, then the news would come on, then it would finish after the news. Yeah, to be honest, we had a break, didn't we?
Yeah.
It was like half an hour, and then so the film was like 2 hours, it was like 3 hours by the time it finishes. But to be honest, it's not one of my favourite John Carpenter films. Thing is, my favourite one.
Yeah.
But it's not one I'll go to all the time. I haven't seen it for quite a while, but it's all right. I said that I don't really know much about it apart from Kurt Russell's absolutely awesome.
Well, Kurt Russell.
I wouldn't actually put it into a John Carpenter kind of film. No, I know it is, but if I think of John Carpenter, I don't think of this film immediately. Like the strange ones, obviously, for the obvious reasons, I always think of Mortal Kombat. You know, this was what this was inspired from. So to me, it's always been like on its own when it comes to John Carpenter's kind of collection.
Well, it was originally a western. It was originally a western. Yeah. And John Carpenter, like, he just done Starman, and I like Starman's not one of my favourite John Carpenter movies. I love Starman. Just Jeff Bridges freaks me out in that film, and he kind of got like free reign when he came to do this. And I mean, I love the score. This is the Pork Chop Express. You can't hear it on the podcast, and just Jack Burton there, just podcasting out to anybody listening. You know what I mean? Just radio wave and CB radio. But again, he doesn't realise he's the sidekick of the movie, and I think that's fucking great. Yeah. This is one of the only films as well, I think, with the modern remake, because for years the remake's been on it. I know For the Love of Movies was having a rant last night about this, but the fact that like this could work really well as a remake, but as a sort of like retelling, but like a sequel in a form. And obviously for years they've been talking about The Rock being in it, but Old Man Jack's been a very popular comic book, you know what I mean? Yeah, no, I'd buy into that, absolutely. I mean, when you see him today, he is like a relevantly fit bloke. It's not like you're looking at an actor who's past his prime and he's no good anymore. Kurt Russell could still pull off a hell of a job of playing Jack Burton, so if they did ever touch him, he had to be in it, like.
But James Hong's still alive?
Yeah, it was his birthday the other day. I think it was like 90 odd. Like I always laugh because, to be honest with you, I know he's massive at Lopan, but to me he'll always be Cassandra's dad in Wayne's World. I don't know why, but when I see his face, I always think of that ridiculous fight scene with him and Wayne doing the crouching monkey and stuff like that.
It's a really bad outdubbed talk
talking and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you guys,
it was ridiculous.
and you guys notice that a lot of John Carpenter films, the titles font is exactly the same.
Oh yeah,
The title font.
it's the same font used on the thing and that. It's very
It's like direct photography and
Yeah.
you know, and all that credits and stuff. But yeah, it's the very same font. Obviously, Kurt Russell and John Carpenter worked on Elvis, didn't they, in 1978, or 1979? Based on Elvis' like for TV.
Well, John Carpenter didn't have a choice. He got hired for the film, and Kurt Russell was already cast as Elvis, and he was just like, I just wanted a job, do you know what I mean? But that's how they met, you're right, Paul? And then they went on to do Escape from New York, and then they couldn't find anyone to play MacReady, and John Carpenter by that point were really good friends. I mean, when you listen to them on the comment for this, they just talk about the family more than anything. And you know, like they talk about it, and like, wait, do you want to play MacReady in the thing? And he went, yeah, I'll do it. So like they've worked together loads.
And obviously, Kurt Russell was obviously a big Disney kid, you know, during the 70s, you know, like the computer wore tennis shoes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So he was a big Disney kid. And going back to Elvis, he actually kicked Elvis in the shin, and that's the way, having at the World's Fair. He was a little kid, he kicked Elvis in the shin. There's like a little scene, yeah. So he actually met Elvis.
Is
And
that
also the audition for Star Wars.
Hans went by any chance? I'll tell you what, Kurt Russell also played Elvis in 3,000 Miles to Graceland.
Graceland with Costner,
Yeah.
I've only seen that once.
Seen bits of it, I haven't seen the whole thing.
Bit fucking mental here when they're cutting the bottle in half, like.
So what is your ultimate favourite John Carpenter film?
Me personally, it's going to be The Thing. I just love the isolation, the score, the creepiness, the special effects, the time, and just like the fact that they had 6 months to make the fucking movie properly rather than just like running towards a green light. I do think this has a very... This to me personally is a perfect 80s movie. Comes off the back end of Hong Kong cinema, was massive. VHS was massive. John Carpenter had time to do the score, and it's one of my favourite scores of Big Trouble. Other ones sort of creep down. I mean, They Live and The Fog and like Halloween and all that. Like this one seems more. This is definitely his best studio film, I think, for looks wise. But after that, I like The Ward and that. But then his other stuff like Ghost of Mars and Vampires just weren't up there like totally John Carpenter style. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
What about you, Carl?
Actually, I've got a funny relationship with John Carpenter because because the thing is, obviously, I think the big obvious answer would be Halloween, mostly because for a long time I hadn't really seen an awful lot of John Carpenter. Funny enough, I actually only saw The Thing for the first time, and I couldn't tell you the year now. It's going back a long time ago. It was before Origin was Origin, it was still a UCI cinema, and they did an all-night Halloween special, and they played like 4 or 5. It's like Bad Taste. They played The Thing. They played the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and then there was 2 others. There was quite a few of them. It was such a good night, and I'll be honest with you, it was not the best way to see The Thing for the first time. I felt it was a little bit long drawn out, and obviously very, I wouldn't say boring, but didn't quite grasp us. But when you're going off one of like all the other films that I watched, it's a slow burner, and so it was years later that I went back to revisit The Thing, and I loved it. So although I would lean towards Halloween long term, I think between Halloween and Thing, it's got to be one of them two. This one, brilliant. I love this. It's a child film for me. Though I feel like as a kid, I loved it because, I mean, the effects are great for the time. You know, it's 86, so you know it's looking good, and it's kind of like got a wacky imagination. So as an adult, I can still appreciate it. But if I had to watch a John Carpenter film, it would probably be between Halloween and The Thing.
I was the thing for me. Like, it made us feel sick as a kid watching it on widescreen VHS. You know what I mean? It's one of those films that I watch it and I still feel ill to this day, like The Fly. I mean, in the remake of The Fly. I watch it, but it's like a love-hate relationship with it because I feel so sick as a special effects.
John Carpenter's very big in what's the camera ratio he likes, Paul? John Carpenter's very massive on it.
What?
John Carpenter's choice of is it anamorphic lenses he uses, isn't it? That's what John Carpenter's style is, isn't it? Very wide and like yeah.
This is not like 1.85 that I'm watching it through Now TV, like, so I don't know what you guys watching on Blu-ray, aren't you?
Yeah, Blu-ray.
Is it like a letterbox edition or just a normal?
Yeah, it's letterbox. So.
The black bars, but yeah.
Oh yeah. It's not full. But
I mean, her career took a bit of a shiner. Obviously, she has been on our podcast before. She was in Police Academy 1. So stuck in the right direction for that, didn't you?
I mean, like I say, you have to have a pretty girl in a film like in this day and age, so they went with a good cast. And I think she's a good enough actress to be more than just a pretty girl as well, though.
She was good in Star Trek Discover Country, wasn't she? Star Trek 6.
Yeah.
Good in that.
I'm sure you mentioned that. I'm sure you mentioned that time on the last podcast.
Don't I know?
Is that the Wang Bang Paul?
And Mannequin, don't forget Mannequin. It's just a bank these days. Just a bank.
Just a bank.
This is a filler where you don't know what you're going to get there. I mean, you just
the
don't know
tone's totally like, it's playing it down to earth at the moment. You know what I mean? There's nothing too mental happened, and like I say, obviously we know what's going to happen, but you know, you've got these three guys here.
He's got Mason Shades on.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when I seen this, I also like seen stuff like Bloodsport around the same era, so you kind of get that kind of like your opinion of like, because I didn't get exposed to much Chinese martial arts as a young kid, you know what I mean? You know who they were and all that kind of stuff, but like this film really is a proper hybrid, like. But as I say, it's become a cult film. Imagine that now in the airport. How would you even get in there with them weapons in the airport?
Yeah, I'm not sure you get very far, like.
How can you have three people in the same place? Not 2 meters apart.
Now there is a deleted scene with these guys. You know, you see these three guys here. At the end of the movie, when they get out with a truck, they actually ram them off the road into the pier with a truck. So they essentially murder them at the end, but it's cut from the original edit.
Obviously, the Golden Child was the same year, wasn't it? Eddie Murphy, Golden Child.
86, so yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I've only ever seen that once. I don't recall much about it.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, once or twice.
It's the one with
it sticks to the mind.
It's the one with the woman who's a monk and all that, isn't it? There you go. You know what's amazing is when you got one of them flying there. Nice
reverse.
reverse.
Shoes on these days.
Now, Dennis went on to be in another Carpenter film that's a bit of a quirky one, Prince of Darkness, which sort of had like Donald Pleasance back in it and all that, and Victor Wong's in it and Alice Cooper. But apart from that, I haven't seen him in much, like, and I think he's mint in this. He's absolutely mint, but...
Yeah, I've never seen Prince of Darkness, you know.
That's mental. It's like they're all just trapped in the building and Alice Cooper's walking around and like there's a mirror and a fucking creepy red hand and all that, and it's a bit of a quirky one, like.
Now come on, the three ninjas. Okay. Three ninjas. The Golden Child. Isn't the Golden Child also? Isn't a film called Tremors? Never heard of that before.
Who, Victor Wong?
Yep.
We're talking about Dennis though. Dennis, the other guy, man.
No. I'm talking about Victor Wong.
Oh, Victor Wong, yeah.
Have a quick little look.
He's never changed, hasn't he? He's like one of those actors. Like, you can pick him out of any film. any pretty much looks the same person.
Definitely.
I love the Three Ninja Kids. I remember seeing it it was one of the times when we went to Stanley Cinema. Now, Stanley didn't have a cinema, but it had a theatre. And of course, it would have like a projector screen. So they would often show films every now and again. I saw the first Mission Impossible that way as well. It was awful. Like, the projector was
The
just
fucking
so
film's awful. You know what I mean? Don't stick up for Mission Impossible and talk about its fucking. Oh,
Well,
God.
Tom Cruise Mission Impossible, I like that. What's
The second one's the best. The second one's the best one, John Woo.
Second
John
one,
Woo.
I really didn't like the second one.
And then after that, I just never bothered watching them. Well, it's
They've
looks like some man
actually, it's one of those franchises that has actually improved over time, though. It's not the same thing anymore, because the first one is full-on TV show Mission Impossible, like the whole espionage and stuff like that. Whereas, obviously, the second one, John Woo tried to make an action film out of it. And after that, they went back to being a bit more, almost like James Bond, but with the team. You know, you always had about 4 or 5. But you had Tom Cruise running around, which is what he does. But no, I saw the Three Ninja Kids, and I thought it was absolutely brilliant.
Isn't he from Die Hard?
Now, there he is. Fuck you, Paul Ray. This is obviously a set. We're pretty much set bound after this. I was just thinking there, like the mask in the cartoon. There's like you've got the truck and the car, which were obviously used to mask the cartoon as well, weren't they?
Yeah.
Crusaders working all the time, fighting crime.
You just know shit's gonna go down here.
Well, I want to get Jack some props for getting that truck in that alleyway. Like.
Now, you Ali Long.
Powers. That's what I meant, yeah. I'm a little bit ahead of yours.
Here he is, Mason.
Ali Long.
Ali Long.
What was I watching the other night? And Chico was in it. And I was just like, Chico! And Brittany was like, what are you talking about? It's Chico! What was I watching? Hang on, I'll have a think. Oh, it's
Predator.
Predator.
Looking a bit frail now these days.
Predator.
When I saw him in Manchester.
Oh, you want to get your thing signed for a second? I'd say he's in Predator 2 at the start. He's one of the people in the fight.
You don't expect him to have guns, do you? No, he's got like proper like martial arts, like fighting, like Karate Kid style.
He's even got like golden like revolvers and all that, and it's just like, what the fuck?
And like Kurt Russell's just got nothing but a knife.
Pretty dark.
It's not a knife.
Pretty dark street and all that, isn't it? Though, but there is streets like that. I mean, I honestly, I look out my window every other day, and I'm like, I look around and I see all the different designs of houses. And don't get us wrong, I'm well travelled, and I've been to like Hong Kong and I've been to LA and stuff like that. And there is streets, right? You can walk up, and it's the narrowest entrance, and the street goes on for ages, and you can't get out. It's more to do like in Hong Kong and stuff like that, but like. I don't think we grasp the size of some of these cities over here. Like, honest to God, we're like a little island compared to some of these other places. Like, it's fucking insane. Like,
I mean, if you go down the red light district, those fucking alleyways are tiny. Like,
I don't know.
seriously, no. I mean, I always joke. I've been to Amsterdam a few times. Like, and that place it's just one big maze. Every alleyway looks exactly the same.
I don't.
All 3 times I've been, we get lost.
I don't remember
If we
Amsterdam.
went there, we'd just be looking at movies. Nothing else. That's how nerdy we are.
No, I've got a museum, stuff like that. I wouldn't want to see the movies.
Oof.
And the movies.
These guys are all in on this. Like, they're all like. You know what I mean? Like, John Carpenter's embraced these guys, like, have that backhand.
And if you look around, you know, everyone's kind of doing what they're supposed to be doing. Background fighting always seems to make me laugh a lot in these days, in modern films and stuff like that. Especially if you're watching, like, what did I watch the other day? The Last Kingdom. So you're starting, obviously, Vikings, and stuff like that, and it's great action. But then when you look behind, there's like some extra, like they're just not up to par at all.
This guy's just had his head. Well, like one guy's head has been rammed in the wall. The other guy's head's been rammed through the glass. I love this score.
These guys, the three guys, always made a Raiden from Mortal Kombat. But you're right, Mason. This is what he used, isn't it? Inspiration.
I said that actually, but I'm not gonna.
Oh, sorry, Carl.
It's alright, I just found out in this podcast I lose a lot of credibility like between you two, so these days I'm just going to make sure everyone knows, like if I say something, I do something, you're going to know I did.
I mean,
if
you look at, the green effect looks mint on Blu-ray, the green fly, mainly you see the horse, but like, you look at the characters and you got like Raiden and like Kung Lao could come from one of those. But even like, there's so many things that are in Mortal Kombat, because Lo Pan could essentially be Shang Tsung. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, totally, yeah.
Have you guys got any of the pop vinyls of these? Because I've got Rain, Thunder and Lightning and Lo Pan, but like Jack Burton and all that go for like at least 50 quid.
I think even the other ones, the ones you've got now, mate, I think they are like not cheap. I don't think they're as bad as 50 odd quid, but I was looking at them because I do like them, but
they were really cheap.
They're on the list of.
I've got the list.
That's pretty awesome, that with the electric and everything.
Oh, it's really good considering if you look at Highlander, very similar timing, like the end lightning effects on that's terrible.
Yeah.
I love this, like the knives come up and they just do that forward roll. Oh, show the weapons. I mean, this guy there who's got the claws, and this guy's like, imagine if you were like, don't come closer, and you put your finger forward, lost a finger again.
I mean, the second guy basically got really fancy back scratches, to be fair.
Let us know when Lo Pan comes on, because I'm a little bit ahead of yours.
I think, well, Jack Burton's driving out now.
Here comes Lo Pan. Just smiling.
He looks like someone I know.
Fuck off. I've got a beard now.
But yeah, those sets are pretty good actually. You see like the rain and stuff on the floor. If it is.
This is mint, this bit where he sets fire. I mean, that's class. Am I right in thinking, Carl, that Big Trouble is one of the very rare Arrow films that has had two different steelbooks with two different designs?
Yeah. Because there's the one that I've got, which is, it's mostly black.
Yeah.
It's got the title on the back, and then obviously it's got like Jack Burton and Lo Pan behind him, whereas I can't remember if I've got the first or second edition. I can't remember which one came first or second, but the other one is Jack Burton, much bigger. It's still got all the characters around.
It's more based on the original artwork, that one.
Yeah, it's a more colourful stuff, yeah.
Was the standard one like the logo or something?
I'm gonna have to have a look because obviously, like I said, when it came out, steelbooks don't have anything on them.
Did you have a J card?
No, I don't keep that sort of thing.
Do you know what kind of aspect ratio or what kind of widescreen you're watching? Or surround sound?
Don't call me Casper, I don't need to log and bloody keep everything all that sort of.
I mean, to be honest with you, when Arrow brought the Blu-ray out, they were risking for it because I got a cover of Kurt Russell always being on the front cover, but sort of have that big head and everything exploding out the head. They've even changed their cover back. Do you know what I mean? It's been, they've pissed around a few times with it, so.
Yeah.
Great set. I love the score.
I think this is I mentioned before though, and just because you're mimicking it, I do love the music in this, mind.
I do. Well, you can play this Blu-ray with the isolated score. It's class. I've got the vinyl. I love the vinyl to bits as well. I've even got it. I mean, I've got the Laserdisc. I've collected a few things about this over the years. I mean, I've got the Guardian, which is a bit like Flash Gordon, that creature as well. So
I think it's one of those films where if you're not really like keen on cinema or 80s films, you forget about it, don't you? It was only when I was scrolling through Now TV, I was like, oh yeah, Big Trouble in Little China's on here. I mean, it's like, it's not one that goes straight to the top of like 80s list, is it?
I mean,
like Back to the Future and stuff like that is.
It'd be interesting to revisit what people's top 80 films is, because like at the time now when like I recently watched Wall Street, and I vaguely remember if I had seen it, but like I watched that and like I watched it and I thought I was going to have like blood coming out my nose trying to work out the stock market thing. I was like, fuck me, this is complicated, and I didn't see it in the 80s. But like, you like the cues, you like the look, there's no faking it, it was done in the 80s, do you know what I mean? There's no like, oh, let's make it look like the 80s and do it now, but like, and then I watched the sequel, and I really enjoyed the sequel.
Is that more Shia Buffett?
Yeah.
Your mate?
Who's my mate?
Don't know. Shia Buff.
Random.
Huh?
Yeah.
It's interesting because Blu-ray.com does not have my my steelbook on record. So the other one, not actually what the one I thought it was, man. It's I don't know how to describe it. It's basically it's almost like, it's not comic-y, but it kind of has a style of comic book to it.
It's Jack.
But it's basically just got Jack Burton like kind of crouching down with somewhat of a minigun. It's got a skull at the top of some stairs, and then Lopang on the stairs, and it's obviously got side characters around him.
No,
It's not
mine's.
the art I thought it was. I don't think I've seen that one before.
Was the original one drawn by Juice Chooser?
It's possible. It's
I can tell you
possible
about the artwork.
because the idea what John Carpenter was meant to be hired for was to make an Indiana Jones.
Right. I can see them living in this world. This could be an Indiana Jones world.
So what other movies were out in this year, Paul Ray? What the fuck was that?
I was going to say, are you making a couple or something?
That's a cup of tea.
Fucking opium den, Paul Ray. That's what you're doing. Fucking getting the fucking poison on your fucking sugar cube, stirring it up.
I don't do sugar.
Are you kidding me? You have more sugar in your system than bloody Stay Puft Marshmallow Man?
Yeah.
What year was this? 1986.
I guess I've got it up if that helps much.
Oh dear.
Aye.
Jesus Christ.
All you want to know about the movies, Carl. So, what a good year. We've got Stand By Me,
Crossroads.
Labyrinth, Golden Child, Platoon, Three Amigos, Cobra, Critters, The Fly, Money Pit, Little Shop Horrors, Ferris Bueller, Aliens, Pretty in Pink, Crocodile Dundee, just having a quick look, An American Tail, I love this film, Howard the Duck, Karate Kid 2, Poltergeist 2, Down Out in Beverly Hills, Friday the 13th Part 5, 6, The Wraith, with a guy in a bloody car bike thing in it, Running Scared Transformers a movie, FX, Murdered by Illusion, good year, 86.
Good year. And I was born that year, so even better.
I thought just about the movie there, like if you said there was a pink Cadillac in Big Trouble in Little China, I probably went nah. And like the transition, like the open circle coming out, I mean that's quite weird for John Carpenter to do. Like he's not really known for a transitioner.
I like how Kurt Russell's playing bloody Clark Kent with his glasses. Looks like he Mason's glasses actually.
Does Mason wear glasses?
Now I do, yes. I got them on right now.
So Mason, have you got a steel look at this.
Yes.
Is it the one where Jack Burton's got his the full cover?
I'll tell you what
with
the front
characters down
cover.
the bottom?
The on the cover it's cosmic blue, massive Kurt Russell, gun in one hand, and at the bottom it's got the truck. It's got all the Lords of War around the side, Lopan on the left.
So there's that one, and then there's the one I've got, which is very much, it's a much darker colour tone. It's mostly black, but it's got like a smaller image with Kurt Russell and the lassie holding each other with Lopan like kind of photoshopped around them. But there is another one. Not really. It's weird because it must be quite new. Because the font Big Trouble in Little China, whereas on mine and yours is the yellow, almost cartoony looking font, whereas the one on this one is the font that we were talking about before with the intro. It's got that John Carpenter white kind of standard font, but it's got a much more animated artwork.
I never noticed it until the beginning of this, when all his movies start with the same kind of font or credits.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, Mason, again, for a couple of quid these days, you know.
Yeah.
Just on the Google search, yours, there's two on eBay, one 60 quid and one 75. And mine must be a new edition because mine's 50 quid. But I gotta say, people are selling, like.
I've got the Laserdisc. I have tempted a few times to sell the Laserdisc. The Cosmic Green looks fucking class. Coming off the roof.
Yeah.
There's an outtake here I don't think's ever been released as well. This woman here who goes flying out the secret door. Apparently on one of the takes the door wasn't breakable and she just gone like some guy goes smack like Shane McMahon, fucking smack inside of it. Here it's coming up here on our screen, Carl. Like
I'm so far ahead.
That would be brilliant. But I would love to have been the person to see that on the set. But Jack Burton looked weird when he had his hair like that, though.
now let's take his hat up, bang, bang. I think one of them's a ballerina. It might be the lightning one.
Do they have names?
What, in
Like
real life?
Steve or Roger?
No,
Philip.
it's Rain, Thunder and Lightning.
Sounds very, very frightening.
Well,
Calimere.
they're great characters, I think, like.
This didn't do too well, did it? The pictures. Like I said, it did better on home video, didn't it?
Yeah, it's a cult video hero, yeah.
Like a lot of John Carpenter films. It just seems like a John Carpenter thing where it goes on the pictures, but it doesn't do that well. But as soon as it comes on home video, how old are we?
I mean, well, that's the thing though. They were talking about it and saying that, like, obviously John Carpenter and like Kurt Russell talk about it in interviews on this disc, going like they didn't put anything behind it, and like they would just decide to bury the movie, release it, and do you know what I mean? Cut the losses, and like they didn't get the fact that Kurt Russell's meant to be the sidekick, and they didn't put any advertisement into it. And it's great that it's become a cult film. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm going to say, they say they didn't put anything behind it. For 1986, 25 million is a lot behind the film.
No, I'm saying after like the marketing and stuff like that, they were kind of like, it was like the week before they put a poster out, and that's the commissioned artwork. And like Kurt Russell even says he wasn't a big draw then. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like it was kind of, it wasn't promoted at all, in very limited run. Do you know what I mean?
So how much did it do it, Carl?
I'm going to say bang on 25 estimates million on the budget, and its worldwide gross was $11,100,577. So
it lost, but then it did better.
Well, it climbed up, yeah.
So it's probably made more money on home video and re-releases and on demand.
Well, it was released in in the US, it was released on the 6th of July, so you could kind of say a bit of almost like a summer blockbuster. So its opening weekend, it did quite well, really. It did 2,723,000. So, for an opening weekend, it actually did well. It just didn't have any legs. I think, obviously, maybe they didn't get much word of mouth about it.
Well, that's it. And I mean, you've got to remember back in them days, you've got to manufacture the film canisters and the film reels and sort of send them out territorially, especially international, But, I mean, like, again, it's something you look back on and go, right, was it well made for the time? Yeah. And is it great that, again, Kurt Russell wanted to do it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it does have, in fact, 8, not 7, not 9, but 8
taglines.
So we'll start off with the first one, which is Adventure doesn't come any bigger. I beg to differ, but, it's a nice one. They told Jack Burton to go to hell, and that's exactly where he's going. That was apparently from the trailer. It's all in the reflexes. That's another one. Some people pick the damnedest places to start a fight. That's apparently a UK poster. And then, it must have changed, must have gotten a bit risky because there's another one exactly the same, but some people pick the damnedest place to start a fight. So a damnedest must have been like a bit naughty in some regions. So it's a damnedest place to fight. Try to find a big reason before you visit the world of... Try to find a big reason before you visit the world of magic. I don't get that one. It's weird. Jack Burton's in for some serious trouble, and you're in for some serious fun. It's a fairly accurate statement. It's a fun film.
And the three reflexes.
The last but not least, this one might win you over, Paul. This is the very last one. It's a mystical, action, adventure, comedy, kung fu, monster, ghost story.
Yeah. I think like...
it tells you everything about a film, but doesn't really help you in any way, really.
I mean, it's a fucking brilliant title for a movie. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. You still don't know what you're going in for, though. Imagine if you, just rocked up at a cinema and you saw, Kurt Russell on a poster and you saw Big Trouble in Little China. You've got no idea what you're going in for.
And then John Carpenter's going to be out of it. Yeah.
Well, this is it. I mean, that's the thing, though, with it being so unique to what John Carpenter normally does, it's a bit different. You might be left a little bit disappointed. Not that it's a bad film, but someone might be walking in thinking, I'm going to see a John Carpenter film, and this didn't always... I mean, it's got a lot of John Carpenter tropes, but it didn't always strike you as, the type of stuff he normally does.
John Carpenter doesn't really do comedy normally.
Nah. So I can see why some people might have walked out thinking, well, that was not what I was expecting.
I can't wait to order a Chinese once this is finished. I'll be like, yum, 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 yum.
I'm not doing all I can see is just noodles and food. I'm sweating now. Chinese food.
I've noticed Chinese for donkey's ages.
I love Chinese food, but when I was in Hong Kong, I mean, I got absolutely hammered one night, and as you do, and I've never seen so many people in all my life. There's a part of the city where they shut down the streets at night because it's that busy. And I remember being blitzed and went into this restaurant, and literally they're like, "Oh yeah, sit there. Yep, fine. What do you want it?" And it was so fucking fast. But when you finished your food, they want you out because the next person in on the seat. I've never experienced that. To me is the definition of fast food. I was fucking stuffed within 20 minutes and back out in the street. I was like, what the fuck just happened there? And then went and found some more beer. Do you know what I mean?
I know, I'll be the first to say it's just a film, but that lighter wasn't really doing much, was it? The place was already fairly well lit.
I mean, Carl, this is definitely your new thing. Would you survive this bit?
Hold on a minute. I will. Normally on my and see if I could hold it as long as this film goes. I'm reckoning now I would struggle, but I reckon I'd survive because I think they only panic when the swam through there. It was fairly straightforward just to swim up. So no, I think I'm surviving so far.
I mean, it's to me, I always struggle to open my eyes open in the water. But even it's like weird stuff there when he hits him with a flying ball and all that, and it's like, well, hey, what's going on here? But again, look at this set design for Mortal Kombat inspiration. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, that's definitely Sonya Blade's kiss of death right there.
Oh, he definitely been using more real, like. I'm actually quite jealous.
Because it's worth it.
Fucking James Hong is all low pants, fucking hilarious. You know what I mean? Jack. Oh?
Mr. Burton. I mean, I will say, so far, they have done a fairly decent job of convincing you, like it's the set pieces are nice. That's what I think I'm trying to say.
Oh yeah, I mean there's a lot of money there.
Keeping that Chinese set piece.
There's another thing as well, right? Like, for now, right? If they made this movie now, right, they would probably cast Jackie Chan or Jet Li in the role of what Dennis plays, right? Wayne.
Yeah.
And like, it would be a double barrel. It wouldn't be just Kurt Russell, Big Trouble in Little China. It'll be Kurt Russell and Jackie Chan, and then you would kind of go, all right. But because Dennis is pretty much unknown and just sits like, you know, he carries his mannerisms well. For like the flip side is Kurt Russell's a sidekick, and it's really funny. You don't get that as a kid.
A lot, exactly. But I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that Kurt Russell is physically a bigger bloke. I mean, you've got this guy who's quite small, who's supposed to be like the main guy, but then when you put him next to someone like Kurt Russell, you're always gonna think, hold on a minute, you know, like obviously clearly Kurt Russell's the ringleader here. But, I mean, that's why I think it worked really well. I mean, different films altogether, but Rush Hour. So
yeah.
Obviously, that's why them two worked really well, because you've got Jackie Chan, but then Chris Rock is also playing such a strong role, but they have a almost equal partnership on screen.
Yeah.
I don't think you actually think of any of them being a bigger role than the other. Whereas this one, I feel like, because he's physically bigger than them, that you always assume that Jack Burton's the one in charge. I mean, I always did as a kid.
Like, James Hong was famous for blackface intimidations. I talk about that in the podcast, and it's just like, you wouldn't get away with that now, would you?
Nah.
But it's a similar stories to, what do you call him? The guy who plays Mr. Miyagi, Patty. They spent a lot of time wanting to be actors, wanting to be in entertainment, and would do these ridiculously low-paid support gigs, and then eventually would find fame in the late 40s going into the 50s. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I watched that
You watched the documentary, didn't you? Yeah.
Really, really interesting. There's a lot about like race. Obviously, because the Hiroshima bomb and stuff like that, and Japanese and Pearl Harbor and stuff. He was just a kid at the time, and then it moves on to like him trying to get parts. Like he's a stand-up comedian, and then it goes on to like Happy Days. Then it goes on to Karate Kid. A lot of stuff. But then I was just saying, Mason of the day. He was actually an alcoholic.
Yeah,
he had so much demons. He became a drinker, and I mean, it was just a bit of a sad night towards the end. Like, it was a good singer though.
Miyagi was a bit of an alcoholic in the first one.
Yeah, they tried to cut that scene out so many times, but they decided to keep it in.
And I can get that. I mean, to be honest with you, for me, funny enough, I mean, he'll always be Mr. Miyagi. That's just plain and simple. But I'll be honest with you, I remember him being in Happy Days, but it's not a go-to memory. The memory that I generally have is he's only in it for like an episode or two, maybe. MASH. And it's really jarring because he is obviously, he's in the war, which basically Mr. Miyagi is, and that's how you interpret Mr. Miyagi. But then he speaks in MASH, he speaks pretty, like, not to say he's pretty decent, but he's got a very good American accent. So you don't really like. It's a bit jarring to watch them, and you sit there and think, "Oh, that's a bit weird." But yeah,
if you get time to watch it, it is a really good documentary.
It's on the list. Like I know when you mentioned it the other night, I was like thinking, "Oh, I'm definitely gonna try and watch that."
Now the corridor they're getting pushed up there is actually flat. It's all in the camera lens.
Really?
Yeah. Trick of a movie.
I don't know. Like that looked like he was running down this.
Who's running down? It's all in the effects, man. It's all the camera. Trust us, I watched all the documentary stuff because we were actually going to do this podcast about a week ago, and I did the commentary and then listened to that. I watched all the documentaries, and then I was just like, "Fuck, we're not even doing it." So yeah, it's
You
just
get kind of defensive, don't you, Mason? When someone like even so much basically like vaguely questions what you say.
no.
I was just saying that when he ran out the door, before that scene cut out, when he ran out the door, he definitely went to a lower angle, and it wasn't camera angle, you could see the edge of the floor. I'm not saying that you're lying.
Calm down,
You
Carl.
wouldn't bloody fall radius strokes.
Oh, she's about to pass out. That old chestnut.
Oh, classic. Oh, you didn't want to be messing with them, like, do you?
They look like the Foot Clan. Don't they?
Yeah.
Now, isn't
Yeah, can't wait to-
the shirt he's wearing, isn't that in Dead Proof hanging up on the wall in the bar? And there's a scene where he's like,
He's Stuntman Mike, isn't he?
aye, but isn't there's an Easter egg with that shirt though, isn't there?
It's great. I love it. I enjoy both Grindhouse and Death Proof actually.
Right.
But if you're a Russell fan, definitely watch it, man.
Yeah, it's just one of those ones. It bizarrely just never popped up, and I've never really been dedicated enough to buy a blind buy.
Kurt
I've
Russell
heard good things, like, but-
is a chameleon, like, because you look at him in Stargate and he's got that buzz cut and he looks totally like he's into it, and you look at him in Backdraft when he's like, you know, he's a fucking very underrated actor, I think.
Yeah.
He tried to get in the action a few times. It's like, again, I think, I mean, he broke his foot, you know, and put up with that because he wanted the big payday. And like Soldier also is set in the same universe as Event Horizon, but I never got him. Like, he was always like wanting to go in the action, and he talks about it on the comedy. He goes, "I was doing well until I made Captain Ron." Like, this apparently was just disastrous.
But you've got to hit the bad one. I think it's like the Hollywood law. So I don't care how good of an actor you are, everyone's got one in the bank. Whereas it's such a bizarre option of like picking out. It generally happened to be like the big stars, like Hulk Hogan's end up doing Mr. Nanny.
Wait,
And
look.
then you've got like
Okay.
Vin Diesel doing the pacifier and stuff like that. They all have to have one of those.
Well, like Colin, we were doing Schwarzenegger, and we're talking about Schwarzenegger, and then we talked about Beretta Island, and you were like, "What the fuck's Beretta Island?" I was like, "Wow, that wasn't a very good film, obviously."
Yeah. I still think I might have to watch that though, just because it sounds brilliant. Brilliantly bad.
That
He's
was,
going down the corridor, yeah, like.
It's
it's
not a real corridor. It's actually a part of the camera. I'm sorry.
it's a fucking illusion. It's like camera obscura in Edinburgh. Like here, it's just like here when he's going back. It's just a flat ground. It's the camera angle.
I believe you.
All right, calm down. I do not believe the guy getting flying away, but like even as a kid, when I seen that, you're like, "Fuck." Like, oh, and he sort of like stops himself. I mean, to think there, I think we all would have been dead there. Like,
Yeah, I'm done now. I would have been over the top of it, no problem.
that's definitely the
I don't
new
think
thing.
that's physically possible.
It
I don't
won't-
think that's how wheelchairs work.
At what point would you die in the movie? I don't know. I think I would try and like. I fell off enough wheelchairs in my time with doing daft shit that I think I would have probably got off that before it got to the end.
Oh, you made a bit of a meal of it, like, but aye.
There's a funny bit coming up here. Is that the first time you plugged some guys? Yeah, of course not. And it obviously clearly was. And he says, "I've just fucking killed somebody."
The effects are pretty good on Pan, like on there when he's I mean, Shangtsung.
What? And these headlights up like a fucking. If you put your fucking ball sack over a fucking light bulb, proper glows. Or what? Just
I never
me.
tried that, like.
Oh well. Okay, it's the same if you did it in the hand, you know. Or put a torch in your mouth, I guess.
Yeah.
And he floats up. You can see him there. Oh, Paul Ray's dodgy download starting.
I'm watching on now TV, mate. What are you on about?
You can see the dipping quality when he's about to go through the wall.
Yeah, that's just a blue screen. That happens every time.
You can see that straight away, yeah. I could see they're doing really well in a 4K restoration if they took the time with it, like.
Well, Arrow's been milked. I mean, look what they're doing with 12 Monkeys, so this probably is on the cards. I mean, Arrow's like, as I say, Arrow's released this. There's been 2 steelbooks, and you know what I mean. It's been sought after, like.
Yeah.
It depends now, because obviously with Fox and Disney now, you know how awkward they are. They want to do their own stuff, don't they?
Well, saying that though, I was really surprised, but because Disney were talking about not really investing too much money in 4K releases. Yeah, they've just announced the first one Saturday coming, but they're re-releasing all the X-Men on 4K steelbooks.
Oh, see.
And I think 9 films. That's quite an investment, really.
To me, honestly, right, fucking X-Men's like, just release it in a box set and have it done with. Do you know what I mean? Just, like they keep
on. I've heard several times, but this is where Disney are now making money off it. Because now that they own it, they're taking their turn now. Because it's been done so many times. I mean, they already have multiple steelbook releases. And then you've also got box sets and stuff like that. So it's been done a million times. Like.
So he's the one, and Paul Ray probably have a little bit of insight on. I'm surprised Big Trouble. I mean, don't get us wrong. I've got a special edition version of Big Trouble in Little China, and it's just a black sleeve around the DVD. But like, I'm surprised Big Trouble in Little China wasn't one of 20th Century Fox's first DVDs. And I'm talking Speed, Die Hard, and Predator when they brought them double disc editions out, Paul, and they used to open out and then fold out.
Yeah, the deluxe ones.
Yeah, I thought that, you know what I mean. There's a lot of I thought Big Trouble would have been one of them, but it never was.
No, it was. To be honest, we got a really short. We got a really big, crappy release over here. I had to order the 5-star edition of it from America, which had so much director's cuts and stuff on it. Not director's cut, but like deleted scenes and stuff. And I had like a DTS soundtrack. Over here, I had a 4.0 soundtrack. So that being, it was just like we hardly get anything over here. Like, but yeah, I think on 4K, it looks really good on 1080p. Like, but I mean 4K will look really good, but it just depends if Fox want to set the rights on Arrow.
Yeah. Well, to be honest with you, I also would like to see them do it really well. Like, because I mean, don't get me wrong, 4K generally looks okay, but I just feel like if they sat down and did this from the negatives, yeah, they'd get a much better result. I've got a funny feeling that whatever 4K we get on this will be kind of the wham bam, thank you ma'am kind of look.
Yeah, just an upgrade of the original Blu-ray negative.
Yeah. Just because the film itself, I mean, it's interesting because there are some really good uses of colour, but then it is quite it's not a hit at it, not a dig, but it does have a bit of a drabby kind of look to it. Like there's like the hallways and the alleyways, even this prison scene now. You know, like the colours are all very kind of mundane, which is good. I feel like when they do use colour, it works really well.
Hogtied. There's a scene where he's crawling along, I think it's later on, and he's got his knife in his mouth, and it couldn't look any more faker.
Well, even when Jack was in the truck at the beginning with his little knife, it just looks very much like a stunt knife. Well, that's it.
Is it a knife?
That's a TV classic. I don't ever remember having that in Crocodile Dundee on DVD, but it used to be on the telly a lot.
I mean, to someone like Crocodile Dundee 1 and 2 are amazing. Like, there's any day, like, people there, like, oh yeah, swim out of here, and you're like, right, where does it go? You could all cram into that little pipe and it's got like a net, do you know what I mean?
Hey, in Star Wars, when Princess Leia shot the garbage disposal, the knowledge had jumped in.
They were just established how she clearly didn't dive in the water. She totally belly flopped in that water there. So you just out struggle here, Mason. It's not very far, but you know, when you've done Nally. I do suffer a little bit claustrophobic as well, so that plus time to hold my breath a long time. I might not make this scene.
That's why I do in films, I hold my breath, and when I jump in the water, I hold my breath to see how long I last for.
The one that would come to mind is Alien Resurrection.
Yeah.
No way, I'm never going to survive that bit.
Well, look at it. Have you seen Poseidon, the remake?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When Kurt Russell drowns in that, you're like, fuck. Do you know what I mean?
It's a horrible death scene.
It's the same as Sorry, Paul. Go ahead.
Stuart Caruso as an actor, I mean, obviously Breakdown is absolutely amazing film. It just doesn't get the recognition it needs. Breakdown.
Yeah, that is a proper black and white, that like.
Yeah, that's the scene. Yeah. I was just gonna say, there, you guys seen Glass?
Yeah.
Nah.
Oh, the most disappointing death scene ever. Yeah.
Who's death scene?
Well, spoiler alert. Bruce Willis.
Oh no,
Man,
it's
you can watch it now.
fucking brutal.
It's not brutal. It's a puddle. It's literally a puddle on the ground. It's get him in a tank or something like that. But Paul, honestly, you're not missing much at all. It's like literally Unbreakable, a great film. What was the second one?
Split.
Awesome film on a very different level. But then Glass, I always found it was a disappointing film. Don't get me wrong, McAvoy steals the show in it, like, but the way they do Bruce Willis, like, in that puddle, I was very disappointed.
We may be trapped. Hide.
Ali Long strikes again.
He's terrible at shooting people, like, isn't he, Jack? He's absolutely terrible at shooting people.
He's a typical truck driver, mate. What do you want? He just does his own podcast, like us. Hopefully someone's listening, like us.
CB Radio.
Yeah.
How many candles are you burning?
Yeah.
Basically, how old are you?
I like how he shot that. How did he, that's a weird way why would they give him that sort of gun to only give him single shots? That's clearly like an automatic machine gun, but he was shooting it like a revolver. Oh, I'm asking too many questions now.
I know, it's just a movie.
It's just a movie.
I would have thought Howie Long would have went down a bit, like Ali Long would have went down easier, harder than that, like. Just kicked in the face.
Way.
It's a bit where he throws his knife by mistake. Where he gets the knife and throws it.
That's bizarre, that, like, there's no reason for him to throw the knife.
It's comedy, a little bit.
And now we're about to get where you think, where's this film really going with the...
This is where it takes, yeah, you're right. It takes a turn, doesn't it, to what? Flip?
Well, it's Beastman, basically, isn't it? It's kind of...
Yeah.
Beastman?
Beastman?
Yeah. You bad?
It's a proper weird creation, like. I'm surprised he wasn't a pop vinyl. You know what I mean? How well the pop vinyls did.
Yeah. Tell you what though, the pacing on this film pretty spot on. Like, there's a lot going on, there's a lot happened, yet it's kind of been, you know, it's fast enough that it's kind of entertaining, but not like just flying through everything.
I mean, they get out and then they've got to go back in, and then when they go back in, that's the last run. And like here, it's just kind of like, I mean, at the end of the day, like, do you not think they would have went, why is this bus parked outside about the time they've been in there, you know what I mean? It's kind of... I mean, one of them definitely would have been dead, like.
He was like an egg very young, like.
I love it how he's just like, where's Gracie?
Somewhere inside.
And there it is, which clearly looks like it should have been a Masters of the Universe.
Yeah.
You're right, you watch it go, what the flip?
Well, is it not playing with that kind of like, that Chinese demon kind of mythology? Because there's been a lot of weird fucking, like, stuff like that. That's what I'm kind of hoping, they go with this new Gizmo series they're doing, because apparently like it's all going to be quite mythological, and so they're going to be like doing a lot of like Chinese lore and stuff like that.
Well, Gizmo's originally...
It'll be quite Gremlins, but...
Gizmo's originally an alien if you read the book it's based on.
Is he?
Yeah, so Gizmo's real name's Mogwai. And there's a lot of stuff that's
so
twisted.
So his name's Mogwai, he's not actually like a breeder. Yeah, okay.
There's a lot of different things from the book to the film, like, so I mean, like normal things. He's a proper creep, like, isn't he? He's a proper sex pest old man.
I kind of find him like in a working man's club, just sitting in the corner with his half pint.
He kind of reminds me of the granddad from Texas Chainsaw.
Yes.
But
obviously a bit more motivated.
Giving her a finger in that.
This man?
This is dissolved.
I tell you what, though, does he not look like Sluggy if you put one of those age apps on your phone? He's got the beard, hasn't he?
Well, it probably look like me. No, it's like he doesn't have a beard anymore.
Does he not? He shaved it off.
Aye. Well, he kind of had to, didn't he? So.
It's a cool thing these days, having no beard.
No, having a beard's cool.
Cool kids are doing it.
I will never, in my lifetime, ever live another day without a beard, unless it's accidental. Beard's the way forward, man.
Nah.
There's the dirty Harry gun.
Can you grow a beard, Paul?
Oh yeah.
Not like a Saki question, because I've never seen you with facial hair.
No, Paul's quite. You get quite a good growth on your beard, like, Paul. If you let it go.
No, because after like a few weeks, it feels scruffy and yucky and itchy.
Well, that's why what you got to do, right, is you've got to wash it, mate, and then you'll be fine.
That's what I'm doing wrong. I'm not washing every day when I come home. Oh, no.
Best thing...
You can't wash it every day. That's irresponsible. Like, you can't wash it every day. You'll get rid of the natural oils.
I have to wash my hair every day. So it gets a lovely shimmer and shine, yeah.
Oh, mate, you're destroying your hair, like.
I mean, I didn't until I shaved last month.
I never thought our podcast would ever go to me giving you hair advice, but I would advise against it.
And don't ask me for hair advice, fuck me.
We didn't. That's why we didn't.
That's why we didn't include you.
Alright.
Me and Cos going to have our own podcast about beauty here.
Alright, we're going to start a new podcast, aren't we?
Yeah? Is it really that bad?
So yeah, that'll be a new podcast. We'll probably have to film one of them next.
Yeah.
Saying that,
What was that like?
Oh, it was probably yours.
Which idea that
You've
was?
probably been and spent £450 on copyright infringement and all that.
No, well, the thing is though, like I'm a giver, not a receiver. So I come up with ideas and I let people flow with them. I've always found myself just sprinkling a little bit of something out there and then people make magic out of it. I was hoping that by saying that, like the Lonely Tree Entertainment would have been able to come up with something.
I've got a name for it.
What is it?
The bad. Ghostbusters Ghostbusters Firehouse.
The ghost.
Bad Ghostbusters Firehouse.
No, what the fuck? It's actually the Ghostbusters Firehouse, by the way. It's interior of thingy's garage.
Not in my version. My version of Walking in the Rain.
It is the Ghostbusters house, isn't it?
Yeah,
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
The Ghostbusters Firehouse was two different places. The exterior was New York, and the interior was Los Angeles, which obviously the Mask used, the A-Team used it, and obviously Big Trouble in China.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. There you go. So, no.
So you were about naming. See, when you were on about naming your podcast, and you start going on Ghostbusters Firehouse. I mean, is that what we're going to call it?
The bad Ghostbusters Firehouse, and I was like, what the fuck's that with me?
It's because I get word in before any of you nerds jumped in with your useless knowledge. I was going to say now, the Bad Branch.
Probably one of my ideas. The Bad Branch.
Yeah. Because it's like a branch, like branching off. It's a bad branch, it's got to break. I don't know, I'm still working on it.
Yeah, I'd still try working on that one.
Thanks, man.
I like where you heard that, but no, not quite. Not snappy.
I wouldn't.
Get it? It's a bad branch, not snappy enough. Yeah.
This is quite eerie as well. Very labyrinthy, isn't it?
I love the set pieces. This is really, yeah. It's just another level of Mortal Kombat.
I bet this is what Mason does during the morning when he wakes up. Gets some knives and just does this in the hallway.
Oh, mate, I'm literally like,
I could say Mason doesn't. Abraham probably does.
Abraham's lucky if he gets out of bed before 12 o'clock. Unless the postman's coming.
Hopefully you'll get yours tomorrow, Mason.
What's that?
Your
Comeuppance.
What, Vice Principals is due tomorrow, is it?
Well, in theory, it's within the window of expectation, but for some bizarre reason, it doesn't matter when things are dispatched for me. It doesn't matter if it's a Monday or a Thursday, I always seem to get all my deliveries on Saturday. So I'm expecting it. I've got two things expected as well, but I'm expecting it to come tomorrow, hopefully.
I would have
Because
thought.
they also, the Turtles one.
No, Carl picked us up Vice Principals. I'm waiting on that. I'm waiting on Turtles vinyl to come. I'm waiting on Therapy vinyl to come, and I'm waiting on Zenon's album to come. So.
Have you got any orders for?
Nothing really interesting. No, not really.
Well, now I'm interested because you're making us feel like I want to know about it now.
Yeah, I ordered some sweetener. 1 kilogram of sweetener was £9.99 instead of £2.30 per tub in Morrison's. That's my life at the moment.
You're right, that's not interesting. Why did you order it? Why not go to Morrison's?
Because it's £1.30 for like each, yeah. No, it's £2. No, it's £3 per tub, yeah.
Right.
And the tubs is really small, or it's £9.99 for 1 kilogram. So it's actually cheaper ordering it from Amazon for $9.99 instead of buying like 6 of them to fill my cabinet.
Two weird things coming up here. One, you've got like this guy and they fly up to touch the magic flame, which happens to be a lamp on the ceiling. I mean, it's fucking ludicrous as it is. And the other thing is the fucking crazy creature that comes out. It won't come out anymore. What won't come out? It's like, what the fuck was that? It's totally started.
And the holding on swords with a bare hand is also something like that charm.
Well, safety first, isn't it? But clearly there's no health and safety on this set.
Oh, green eyes really rare, I got it.
I've got green eyes.
I've got green eyes also.
I've got blue. What can I say?
You're not cool. Actually, no, you be blue eyes.
Jesus, so, you know, who's cooler than Jesus?
And then they're going to hold on with one hand and touch the magic light.
That's some serious core strength, that looks.
Some ludicrousy, that's what it fucking is.
Ludicrous food right now. Spaceballs. In the ground where they're trying to go to the building, yeah? Is it Lagoonies, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's traps and stuff and big
Booby
drugs.
traps. Here it comes, he's going to eat the kid in a minute, isn't it?
Booby traps?
Boobies.
And he just throws magic marbles at him there again. But it's weird, it's almost like, it's not stop animation, it's a big, like, prosthetic thing, isn't it?
That's
Yeah.
that, like, it's your puppet.
It's a very good one. See, I don't, like, that's the thing with me, like, I would have that every day of the week. It's clearly a puppet. It's not, obviously, what CGI could do, but I'd still have that over CGI.
I'm the same, mate. I always go practical.
Yeah, I can accept that films aren't real, so, like, when people sit there and go, but it'll look like a real 7-foot tarantula, and it's like, but I know it's not real, so let's just give us something more entertaining.
But like John Carpenter suffered from that because they went all out from Escape from LA, and one of the horrible things about Escape from LA that hasn't aged well is the special effects.
Yeah.
Badly.
Bruce Campbell.
Is that the one where he's surfing?
Yeah, the surfing one.
When they go past, when he's in the submarine and he goes past, there's that knife I was talking about, Carl. That couldn't be any more faker in his mouth.
That is the knife you get when you buy your Rambo toy set, and you get your knife and your badge. That's terrible.
But when he goes past Universal Studios and the Jaws ride comes out to try and get him, you think, what's going on here?
I would hate that. Fish. I hate fish.
Why do you hate fish? What did they do to you?
I mean, clearly that's just a
it's
massive fucking trampoline he's just been on there.
Oh, look at it, your sushi, not like sushi, Paul.
No.
Nah. I mean, you probably wouldn't if you don't like fish, but you know. Shock horror, most people don't realise that the sushi actually does not only different types of meat, but they also cook it as well.
The only seafood I like is shrimps and bananas, Holmes, sweets.
I'm gonna say fucking banana.
Shrimps and bananas.
Aye, they would literally kill me now. They're like pure sugar. I love them, but I can't have. I've got dark chocolate drops in my cupboard. That's me sweet treat if I ever want something like that.
We're all about to get
About your toilets.
about to get off the face.
Oh, more than chocolate drops in my toilet.
So, what do you guys think about remake? Yes, no, nah.
In a way, no. I think there's a good enough story to be had as a sequel, but I'd rather see a sequel than a remake. If they're gonna do something, I'd rather see a sequel than a remake. I don't know. I just don't see what the Rock's kind of involvement would be.
I think it's more the comedy side of it. Yeah.
I think he loves the film that much, doesn't he?
But he's too big of a guy. I mean, look at Kurt Russell. He's a big guy, but he's a normal bloke. You know what I mean? He's not ripped. He's just well formed. Whereas The Rock he just look too fucking behemoth.
It wouldn't be a truck driver. It'd be like an Uber delivery guy now, wouldn't it?
Yeah. And who would you partner? Who would be the main guy? Who was it? Is it going to be Kevin Hart?
Probably.
I watched. This set looks mint. But again, no, you look like this is very Indiana Jones Temple of Doom, isn't it?
Definitely. Yeah.
It wasn't until Boggle came on.
Flash Gordon, though, isn't it? The Guardian.
Flash.
Savior of the universe.
Yes, indeed.
Fucking
NECA, I don't know if it's NECA, I think it's something else. But there's been three figures just being released in America. Flash Gordon, the fandom. And why am I forgetting? Me.
Oh, like from like
nice.
more than like Defenders of the Earth kind. Aye.
Yeah.
Defenders of the Earth. Defenders. I used to love that. I had a spaceship.
No.
He's quite creepy there, like. It's not bad.
You know your new T-shirt you were showing off the other day.
Yeah.
Is that supposed to be representing the monster yogurts back when we were kids?
Frightening feet, aye.
Right, okay. I just thought I was meant to ask you about it, but I looked at it and I thought that looks very similar to Frankenstein.
Well,
Frankenstein, I remembered.
If you watch my brand new video released this morning, you'll see that Theo's
time for that, mate.
video.
Can you just tell about it?
Well, I was going to say, if you watch it, Theo was in the video explaining, and he's actually a big fan. He's got some original artwork it was based on, so.
Alright. I will watch it though, I'm just kidding.
I'm too busy watching Mason's Necker Rampage.
That's Carl's fault.
I never asked you to do any like that, like.
I know you dropped a minute 5 times.
But no, because like you say, I stand by everything you said was right. Even though one guy didn't understand a word he said, but you know.
But he was still nice in the comments when he was like, "Oh."
I agree with you, but like, in a way, he said he agreed with your point, but like, you just said he didn't understand a word you said. I was like, it makes sense. Like, I mean, I don't know if he's American. Probably has a hard time understanding.
Nah, Mason's good friends. Good friends with America. These are in for president.
Be another Jeremiah. Be another Jeremiah. Judgmental Jeremiah, Carl.
Oh, this next year is going to be the Lonely Palm Tree. You'll be based in like Italy or something like that.
Nice.
But don't worry, we'll be his British counterpart. So while he's off making all these big money in America, we'll just continue the classic podcast.
About beauty and hair.
Yeah. And we ordered from Morrison's online.
No, it's from Amazon because Morrison's was
sorry, Amazon. Yeah, okay, I do apologise, yeah.
It was £3 each. And it was for the jars, or it's £9.99 for 1 kilogram. And the jars were only like 120 grams.
Did you get that on Amazon Prime?
I did, yeah. I've got another 10 days left before my trial runs out. Extended it.
I was going to say, that's where, I mean, I'm their prime target, because the other day I did it just for the free trial, and I'm now 6 months in. You know, it's just like something I can't be bothered to cancel, but every time I go on Amazon now, though, if it's not Amazon Prime, I don't buy it.
I mean, to be honest with you, Carl, like we were talking about on the last podcast about Netflix and why they don't go down to one household, and now they're doing it.
I feel like I've put that out in the universe, so I apologise to everyone.
Well done, Carl.
In all fairness, though, I'm getting burnt as well because I share my mum's Netflix, so I'm going to be knackered as well.
It's how much? It's like $13.99 for the 4K Netflix.
Yeah, and it's not really 4K, isn't it?
No.
It's like, I would never buy the 4K one. I think even when my mum said she was going to upgrade, I said, don't bother. I said, I think she got the middle one, so it's kind of like HD, but it's not standard, but it's not 4K. And it's perfectly fine, like.
The thing about 4K streaming, it is 4K, but it's not the highest bit rate, like megabits per second and stuff like that, so you have to have a really good bandwidth for it.
Yeah, well, a friend of mine, actually, I don't know if you know him, actually, Paul, do you know Scott? Does all the art, Scott Robinson. Were you at HMV then? He just sent us a picture, he sent us a picture the other day, and it was Batman vs Superman, and it was a comparison between 4K streaming and 4K, like, Blu-ray.
I've seen a few things like that.
I mean, you expect it. Any on a physical disc is why In fact, it's not why you should be buying physical media, but it's one great reason why you should buy physical media, is that it'll always be more superior. Plus, it depends on the internet provider and the type of TV you've got. By having 4K bloody Netflix if you've got a shite TV or a really poor connection.
Here it goes. And he knocks
And
himself
I'm kicking
out.
off now.
Kurt Russell's idea, that. How to keep him out of the fight.
Oh, really?
He's just comically just out for the count.
I mean, it's pretty ridiculous, but in a really good way. Like, you can really sell the comedy on it.
Fucking love that kick, man. Fucking kicking 3 guys. I mean, that's just ludicrous as well, doing the running up the wall and defying gravity. But
Because before he did that, I was just about to say it was brilliant to see how like these guys do actually have some like real fighting ability. It's something that you lose a lot on this day and age. I feel like all they do now is just pan cameras in really close, so you don't have to see them like really fighting.
I mean, even this bit where it's like, right, it's away, they're flying through the fucking air. Lord Pan and Victor Wong are about to have a fucking abnormality fight with fucking spirits and shit. I don't think there's not much blood in this, is there? Little or low, because that guy's just been stabbed there, and it's not very bloodlust, the movie, is it? It's all...
I mean, Lord Pan had some blood on his fingers, but no, for everything that we've seen, it's been very little.
It'd be for the ratings, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That's
not very cool, like.
Is this a 15?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff going on in the background. Before, there was a guy just doing a backflip, and he was out of focus behind some like smoke and all that, and I think they still went fine. I do find it really terrifying when you first see James Hong as a human, when he gets to the next scene and you see him with no makeup. I think he looks more terrifying then. Look. Flying through the sky.
Brilliant. It's kind of an homage to like the old Japanese films, when it's like all the wire works and that. Even though it does a really good job of not actually looking too much like wire work, but still.
I love how Kurt Russell stood on the ground trying to get off the guy on top of him. And this movie's just Spaceballs, the light and the dark. With the fingers.
I mean, if I jumped up and swung a sword, I would probably be on the floor before the sword went to full circumference. Do you know what I mean? Never mind, like, multiple attacks in the air.
What's fucking Kurt Russell having, like, has he given birth or something?
The guy's on top of him so heavy you couldn't get him off.
There you go, and add more quality. Playing computer games.
Oh, we're getting neon now, though.
Fucking colours look fucking amazing on Blu-ray.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Looks like this in Heathers. Heathers looks mint on Blu-ray for its colour.
I'll have to watch that film at some point.
It's fucking mint.
I like how Lord Pan's got escalator.
Oh yeah, it's for really hard times when they start to escalate.
Get that news.
It's finally off him.
Finally. That's ridiculous, that. But it's owning it though, that's the thing. Like, this is where I feel like it would go wrong with The Rock, because he'll be trying to be funny. Whereas this is kind of like, you know for a fact he's trying to be funny, but at the same time it's like, it knows what it wants to be and it kind of works. I feel like if they did a remake today, they would want to try and make an actual, like, serious action film, but then put in really silly moments.
I don't know if you noticed, like, but Dennis's eyes, he's got like a red glare in them. Probably
I just noticed that actually.
He's had red eye for a while.
if you think about we are the Kurt Russell character thrown into a situation where we have no idea what's going on.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, he's not really questioned much, has he? Everything you see, he's just kind of taken in a stride.
Thanks, Carl.
Sorry, mate. I did a lot of walks today. I normally go for a walk like every other day, but I decided to meet up with a pal, and we ended up walking for like 3 hours. Aye.
Nope, the beast is back. I've just been kicked in the groin leg.
This man?
I can say it doesn't matter what you are, man, woman, beast, kick something between the legs and you'll get a reaction. I've done a lot of walking like for, but I don't think I've hit your numbers. Like, I think I'm only on like 18,000 steps.
I'm back on my bike now. Walking was too long. I do 2 hours on my bike now.
Right.
Kisses in there.
Through the town.
Lipstick on his face. That's what you should want to do next time you're on your bike, Paul Ray. Go out with some lipstick on your face.
So when I fall off, people come over and laugh at us.
Take a selfie with you and get going. Now you're about to see James Hong, as I was saying before, without makeup, and I think he looks fucking terrifying. Like, dun-dun-dun-dun. Dun-dun-dun-dun.
And then he just comes and strolling in, Jack.
There, he just looks he just looks totally fucking creepy with no makeup on. Low pan now. I don't know what it is, and it's like he's got his beard all dyed back to black, and it's like,
I don't know, like, I'm not there yet.
well, he's just about to. There you go. He's
She's
just.
sneaking around with a spear.
There you go. And then it's again. Has you guys ever seen "I'm Gonna Get You" sucker?
Many weeks ago.
Just
It
that,
sounds familiar.
just that era of like weird like 80s films, and that was one of them where like this guy just explodes here for no reason. You know, really.
He's terrible for life, isn't he?
Well, this actually it reminds me. I couldn't tell you what the film's called. It's the Japanese film my brother was watching, and it's very much similar to that. The fact that like the film is very kind of dingy, kind of martial arts film all the way through, and then like the villain at the end just I think he's like stuck in a cage, but like everyone thinks they're safe because he's in the cage, but then you just start to inflate. You just start to get massive, and just like it must be a common Japanese thing to do.
And there you go. All in the reflexes pays off. Knife to the feet.
Oh,
He's just going around destroying things.
I mean, I wonder how many takes I had of that though. The domino effect. It mustn't have worked.
yeah.
Because if it had worked, they would have just kept it as one shot. I think.
I don't know, like, how do you redo that? How many statues would you have had? Because they're all, like, kind of really broken. They're not, like, just broken because that's how they were made. They must have had a lot of them statues.
The bit where Ryan's like going like through the corridor, like left to right, kind of like a cartoon, isn't it?
Aye.
It's a little bit, yeah. Just when he randomly chopped a metal statue, yeah?
Yeah. And it's got running back forwards, and there's like things getting thrown around, like Scooby-Doo.
And there you go. We think there's going to be a fight, and he just sort of explodes.
Oh, he didn't realise.
Sorry.
Lopan dead. He's upset.
Well, essentially, if Lopan died, he should probably lost his powers. If it's kind of a bit of a vampirism. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, the effects are not bad. I mean, it's ridiculous, but in the sense of like, at least it took some time to do something like this, rather than like be silly, like be lazy about it.
it's fucking insane. That man just explodes.
That should be a fatality on a Mortal Kombat game.
Well, it probably
Start
was.
to inflate and blow
That's out soon, isn't it? Like next month,
Yeah,
isn't it?
I was about to say, I'm quite looking forward to it.
And so is Godzilla, isn't it? Another month.
That's going to be criminal. I don't know if I'm going to love it. I know, Mason, you're a big fan of the series, but I don't know. The last two have been okay, but I've not really been blown away.
Last two, the last three. Three, there's been three so far.
Oh, that's right. So, well, yeah, the first Godzilla is not Godzilla, though. It's a tail, you know. No, the thing is, like, I think if any of them are going to win us over, it's going to be this one. I definitely preferred Kong, Skull Island over Godzilla, but I don't know. I think it's just going to be criminal to watch that film not at the cinema. I feel like that's the thing that it doesn't have to carry the film. You know for a fact if you saw that on the telly and then you saw that in the big screen, there's reason why cinemas still exist and why they'll always exist.
Oh, totally. I mean, but I mean, the cat's out of the bag anyway. Like Smith's Toys have spoiled it all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things, isn't it? Because didn't they mention it though beforehand? Didn't someone say, "Oh, everyone thinks it's Godzilla, but it's actually going to be such and such"? Rather than
It's Mecha Godzilla.
It was on a trailer. It was on a trailer hidden away somewhere, and someone spotted it.
I was going to say, because I didn't spot it. I know someone said it was on the trailer, but I didn't. It's not something I picked up.
Well, it's just sort of characteristics, especially when you've seen that scene of Godzilla trying to get out the water and stuff like that and struggling. It's kind of like it's a robot, you know.
That's true. We'll get out water also.
So in the world of Godzilla, mate, who built Mechagodzilla, Mason?
Well, exactly. It'll be that Charles Dance's gang.
Yeah.
I'm Charles Dance.
So we're on the last stretch out there. Everyone's dead. They need to make a great escape. It's not like it's going to blow up. They just need to get out of there. There's his truck.
There's my truck.
Obviously, there's the deleted scene I talked about earlier on when they just flat out murder the people at the start of the movie.
Yeah. You know what it is though? This film, right, should just end where Jack Burton like pulls up in his truck, right, goes into a bar, and then just like from afar stares at Stallone, and like they're just about to have an arm wrestle, straight over the top.
Well, that was one of our very early podcasts, wasn't it? Tango and Cash.
Tango and Cash, love that song.
Cash and Tango.
It's just, I mean, on paper that shouldn't have worked in theory. Like when you sit there and think, Stallone and like Kurt Russell both very like kind of action-eccentric stars, and like we mentioned on the podcast, you know, like Stallone turns up in a three-piece suit and he's wearing glasses, and it's just like, what the fuck?
And Kurt Russell's a slob.
And Kurt Russell's a slob. But like I say, it's still one of my favourite films of like the action era.
It's here. This scene here. The next to see the car drive off or something like that, and they go off and murder them.
But they murder the three guys, or
they drive them off the pier in the truck.
Right.
It's on the deleted scenes. I love it here as well, though. You think that he's going to get together and just aren't you going to give her a kiss? And he's just like, nah, too much trouble. just fucking leave.
Yeah, I love that though, because it's just like that total expectation that the man always gets the girl in the end.
As well
It's
as
2021, isn't it? It'll be your female cast. Be two female leads now.
Talking about that as well, though, this does the typical 80s thing. It has an open ending with a fucking creature on his truck.
True, yep. It's just smart business, I get it, and it's weird, but like, I don't know, it just felt like it was the only way that people operated back in the day. It's like, oh, we never know. Because like, if you think of the 80s, when especially like horrors and stuff like that, there was no real expectation of doing sequels, but it was always came down to however much money it made. And then, I mean, look at the Friday the 13th franchise. I mean, if you watch the documentary there, they literally, every film they make only just about makes enough to cast it like a profit. And it's just enough to get people to go, let's do another one. And let's do another one. And they're going for like 9 or 10 films.
Like Elm Street, at the end, the one that was finished there and then, but obviously Rob Shea, the producer, went, no, I want Freddy to come back. So that's why they just did that alternative track where the dummy was through the door.
Yeah, the mother through the little window, yeah.
Yeah,
Which you can tell. You can tell it was
like one take, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're timeless. That's the thing about them, though. I mean, like I say, if you,
watch them all
the joke is, I mean, Nightmare on Elm Street's got a little bit more character to it. It's like Friday the 13th. If you watch like 2 or 3, you've seen them all. It's just a matter of a different group of kids and different ways of dying, but they are very much a timeless kind of era. I'm not a really big fan of horror in this day and age.
Yeah. Gore porn.
Well, there's that, or it trying to be too clever, and it's just trying to be like, I don't know, it's like, it's all the same. You watch The Conjuring and Annabelle, and like, it's all the same universe, but at the same time, it's just like, but it's the same film. Really, when you come down to it, there's just no imagination left. I was hoping The Invisible Man would be more of a thriller horror style, but I kind of felt a little bit more of a, not a letdown, but it was very basic.
This is low budget though, wasn't it? It made loads of money back. That's why that one. Billy Fantasy Island.
Pork Chop Express.
Dun 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 dun. Amazing.
How much would it cost to get that tattooed on your arm?
What, Pork Chop Express?
Yeah.
I don't know, probably about 10 quid, 15 quid when the tattoos are in.
I like
and
it.
then
You're not even gonna like
end song, John Carpenter and Nick Castle. Nick Castle as in The Shape, as in Dennis. Big Trouble in Little China.
Also, that's Starfighter. The Boy Who Could Fly.
You better run. Right, so how many? Ooh, Paul Ray, what is it?
Oh, Paul, you got some options.
And I'm going to go for the most typical one. How many all-in reflexes?
How many all in the reflexes? Ooh, I mean, it's a nostalgic film, so that's gonna get me over. Because at the end of the day, is it a great film? It's not a great film, but it's a really entertaining film. I have a lot of fun with it. The music is obviously John Carpenter's on par. Love the music. The visual, it is very, very impressive for the time period. And like I said, I don't know if, to be honest with you, like I was trying to say before, like in some areas the colours were like really drabby, not like as in a dig, it's like almost the set pieces were very dark and gloomy. So whenever we did get a really like colourful effect, it would like bang on neon. So I really love the way they use that. So for me, out of 10, I'm not allowed points. Am I not, Mason?
Nope.
Nope, I can't have a point. Then I'll give this a solid 7 all in the reflexes out of 10.
No, that's pretty good, that.
I'm quite happy with it. I think I enjoy watching it. I haven't seen it in a while. Just as fun to watch it with people as it would be if I watched it on my own. Yeah, I'm going to say it does what it says on the tin. Well, actually it doesn't, because you have no idea what it says on the tin, but it's not a letdown. So, there we go.
Oh, cool. Well, it's down to me. I want to say 8 out of 10 for me personally, because it's one up there with John Carpenter's favourite films. The score's mint. I've just got so many fun memories of like discovering these movies and then thinking, what the fuck's going on there, and how much it inspired the next generation of 90s culture. I mean, it's a VHS hero. That's what the film is, because like it found its audience through VHS. I think Kurt Russell's amazing in it. I think everyone's. You all right there? Who's?
Paul, are you having your biscuits or something?
I'm getting supper ready. I'm listening.
Fucking hell! Calm down. Cup de Vins. Aye, it's an 8 out of 10. Aye, I'm not going to get Russell back. Fuck me. Jesus Christ. I've said enough. Let Captain Russell go on.
I guess say, never mind Kurt Russell. We've got fucking Paul Russell out here.
So just give me supper ready, that's all.
What are you having for your supper before you do anything more for? What's on for supper? We're all invested now.
I'm having an oat muffin.
An oat muffin?
Yep.
That's quite depressing, but I hope you enjoyed.
And a cup of tea.
And a cup of tea.
So why are you
what's
having
your score?
so why are you teabagging your old muffin? How many are fucking rolling the reflexes?
I'll give it around a 4.
A 4?
A 4?
The reason...
What the fuck's in your muffin? A 4?
I haven't had it.
No, you fucking better. Like, you know what? You've rustled and bustled over my fucking rant. You can fucking. Honestly, right? I want some fucking good explanation of why you think it's a 4 out of 10.
For me, it's not my favourite John Carpenter film. Okay? And I haven't got that much emotional attachment to it as I would have, like, The Thing, or Halloween, or Elvis from 1979. I could watch them all the time. It's just one of those things I probably watch every few years, but it's something I need. You know what I mean? I'm getting old and cynical, that's what's wrong. Enjoy it.
I don't know, like, each to their own, and I certainly wouldn't say your answer's wrong. I mean, it is, but I wouldn't say it. But I don't know, like, the special effects is 4 alone. For me, anyway.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, okay, well, it'll be that's going to be a bit of a debate, I think. I'm going to film in the camera for that.
No. Plus we've got a Chinese on order here, so it's big trouble in Little China with me tonight. Paul Reagan's on another rant.
It's coming to America all over again.
Oh, don't you guys start with that.
I'll tell you what. It
That's
gets worse every time I think about it.
So we're not going to get into that tonight, but I'm going to say is, like, personally, I've got loads of love for this. I think Arrow's done a great job.
Yeah.
It's a shame that John Carpenter has no interest in making films these days. A long time has been passed since he's made a movie.
But you know what it is, though? I'll just cut you off there. I actually appreciate that, because to be honest with you, if he hadn't got anything to say, or if there's nothing that's passionate enough for him to make something,
Yeah.
I'd rather do it. I feel like there's a lot of people out there who should pack in doing what they do, but they're still going to do it because they want the paycheck, or they want to still be relevant. I appreciate John Carpenter being able to say, you know what it is, I'm done. So it is a shame, but I do appreciate it.
You can live off all the Halloween franchise money now, can't you?
But I mean, he probably is, and I don't know him personally, but he always struck me as someone who's, like, not really in it for the money. Like, if you think of all the things that he's made, they've all been kind of like, I don't know, not passion projects, but he's always like had a lot of investment in them.
He's had a lot of creative control.
Did his own music and stuff like that, so he's had a lot of creative control of what he does.
And it's paying off for him now. I mean, at the end of the day, right? He basically, whatever he's done in the past, he's done it right, because when he tours and he has his anthology album, all his songs are on there. It's not like there's a missing one where you go, why is that song not on there for? Well, he fucking, you know what I mean? He's burned bridges with the studios and going, no, because he comes from that, I mean, if you look back at Dark Star's fucking mental, and like, but it's one of the greatest student films ever made. But you watch it and it's like a bouncy fucking little ball and the computer's kicking off. I can't listen to the score because the computer's just going fucking nuts. But again, you know, like, he's always stuck with Dean Cundey, Larry Franco. He's always kept his head down. And he's great, like, thing. But again, he's like, he spends more time now touring with Cody, his son, and stuff like that. So
yeah,
he's got his priorities right.
Well, obviously, we've seen that show, Mason, and you can tell he's having a hell of a time.
Well, that's it, yeah.
He's doing what he loves, and I praise him for it.
I mean, he doesn't need the money. He tours, makes all that money off that. Oh, yeah. Well,
Absolutely.
this has been the podcast with Big Trouble in Little China. This was my pick, so I don't know who's picking next.
We'll just skip me, because I never get my choice.
Well, oh, come on.
Just for the record, Mason, you can see it when we're on the air that whose choice is it next, but we all know when this goes off the air, I'll say something and then it'll just be like, nah, or I'm not sure, and then, or I'll suggest something, and like 3 days later you'll be like, so what, we're watching then?
Well, what do you want to do? What do you want to do?
We're watching.
It was Evil Dead, wasn't it, last time?
I haven't got it yet.
I want to do Porky's now. That's the one I
I
want.
don't have Porky's either.
Nah. You know what it is? Can we go on record and shame Mr. Stephen Monkey Mason for the man
Evil
who's
Dead,
got
man.
more VHS than bloody Blockbuster did? He's got bloody DVD, he's got everything, but he does not own a copy of the Evil Dead 2. That's for the world to know now. What's the American
Whoa,
drop
whoa,
like
whoa, whoa,
bloody
whoa, whoa, whoa.
habit?
Whoa, whoa, whoa. I do own it on VHS. And if I have a look, I might have it on Laserdisc.
If you watch on VHS, we'll definitely be out of sync.
Oh, I definitely are. Well, what do you want to do next? Anyway, like you can't.
We'll have a think about it.
Yeah, another thing though. But you guys, let's do Evil Dead 2. We haven't done Evil Dead 1.
Well, you've never really been that fussed about keeping everything in chronological order.
Yeah, you don't need to Evil Dead 1 for Evil Dead 2. They're completely different films.
All right, calm down. Right, so we'll be back with another podcast very soon, unless Paul Ray murders everybody with his fucking rustling and Carl gets angry at everyone. But for now, I've been Steve Mason. I've been joined with Paul Ray and Carl McSorley, and this has been Big Trouble in Little China. Thanks for listening. Goodbye for now.